Welcome to a special installment of Higher Ed by Heylo. In this episode, we'll be covering all things related to Washington State's new rules around medical cannabis, a program administered by the Department of Health, or DOH. This episode was made possible thanks to support from Confidence Analytics, one of only a few labs in Washington capable of testing for medical compliance. And here's what we'll cover. We'll start with an overview of the recreational and medical markets and how recent legislation means a major shift for the medical market. Then we'll cover what it really means for a product to be medical, the extra testing requirements these products face, and the tax benefits to consumers, as well as how to obtain a medical card and gain access to preferred pricing for medical patients. In 1998, Washington State followed California to implement a medical cannabis program. The state's medical cannabis program grew in size and strength until the implementation of Voter Initiative 502, which introduced recreational cannabis sales in Washington starting in 2014. For more than 10 years, the medical market was essentially identical to the recreational market, except for two key differences. Medical patients could shop at recreational outlets and avoid local sales taxes, roughly 10%, and had higher purchase and possession limits. Medical patients were still required to pay a 37% excise tax on all purchases. In 2024, the Washington State Legislature passed changes to the rules for medical cannabis products and patients, mainly significant tax savings. More to come on that in a bit. First, let's cover what makes a medically compliant product under the new legislation. For this, we'll visit our friends over at Confidence Analytics, one of just a few labs in Washington currently capable of conducting all tests necessary for medically compliant product.
Hello, I'm Shannon Stevens, Lab Director at Confidence Analytics based in Redmond, Washington. We're going to walk through testing for medical compliance in Washington State according to regulations established in spring of 2024. The Department of Health is responsible for setting the quality and safety requirements for products to qualify as medically compliant. In Washington, medical cannabis and DOH compliance are synonymous. The medical cannabis law allows for products that may be beneficial for medical use. These products must pass stringent testing set by the Washington State Department of Health and are called compliant products because they comply with rules set by the department. The law does not determine which types of products can qualify as medical. It only establishes the specific testing requirements that are mandatory for medically compliant products. What are those testing requirements? Confidence Analytics is one of only a few labs in Washington capable of testing and certifying medical products. We're going to break down the specific testing requirements for DOH medically compliant products in Washington State. Here are the requirements for a product to be considered medically compliant. First, potency testing. This is a measurement of cannabinoid concentrations such as THC and CBD. Next, products must be screened for mycotoxins. These are toxic metabolites generated by some species of mold. Screening for pesticide residues is also required. Tests for shelf stability, microbial contaminants, and residual solvents are also required depending on the product type. Screening for heavy metals such as arsenic and lead is also required for medically compliant products. This test is not required for the sale of recreational cannabis. The major difference between recreational and medical compliance is testing for heavy metals, specifically arsenic, cadmium, mercury, and lead. Exposure to these toxic metals can result in lower energy levels and damage the functioning of the brain, liver, lungs, kidney, blood composition, and other important organs. After homogenization, a subsample is weighed from each product for heavy metals testing. Next, subsamples undergo a predigestion step. Strong acids are added during predigestion to begin breaking down the sample material. After predigestion, the samples are sealed into specialized vessels and loaded into microwave digesters. During microwave digestion, samples are subjected to high temperatures and pressures. This treatment, along with the strong acids, completely decomposes the sample matrix, leaving behind a clear solution containing any elements of interest. Once digestion is complete, samples are diluted and filtered for analysis. Analysis is performed by ICP-MS. inductively coupled plasma with mass spectrometry. Plasma is superheated matter, so hot that electrons are ripped away from the atoms, forming an ionized gas. ICP-MS uses an argon plasma to convert the sample into ions that are then measured using a mass spectrometer. Fun fact, the plasma generated in this instrument reaches temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. After analysis, our quality department reviews the sample data along with calibrators and controls to verify the accuracy of results before certificates of analysis are generated. Again, only medically compliant products undergo this final test, and the results can be found on the product's Certificate of Analysis, or COA. Here at Confidence Analytics, we've created a program to help retailers and customers know which brands have opted to test at least 60% of their product line to DOH standards. It's called Certified with Confidence, and you can find a roll call of those brands, which of course include Heylo, at certifiedwithconfidence.com. Thank you for joining us here at Confidence Analytics as we explore the ins and outs of medical compliance. Now, let's go back to learning about impacts of DOH on customers and consumers.
In 2024, significant changes were made to the medical cannabis program in Washington state. First and foremost, the changes mean huge savings for medical patients purchasing medically compliant products. How significant are these tax savings? It can range anywhere from 45% to 48%, depending on the locality where the product is being purchased. Who is eligible for these savings? Anyone with an active, valid medical card is eligible for the full tax savings on medically compliant products. And which products are considered medically compliant? Only those products that have passed testing standards set by the Department of Health, which includes heavy metals testing. These products are required to carry a label stating general use on the front of the packaging. And where can you find a medically compliant product? There are hundreds of medically compliant stores in Washington. We've got links for where you can find one near you on our website. How can you, as a patient, obtain a medical card and save big on medically compliant products? The process is straightforward. First, obtain a medical authorization from your primary care provider or a healthcare practitioner who can evaluate you for a qualifying condition. Qualifying conditions include intractable pain, Crohn's disease, cancer, and PTSD. A full list can be found on our website. The next step is to visit a medically endorsed retail store to get a medical cannabis card. And the final step is to use your medical card to purchase medically compliant products from medically endorsed retail stores without any tax. Thank you for taking time to explore Washington State's medical cannabis program with higherED. If you have questions or comments related to this topic, we invite you to reach out to us via our website or in the comments section below. And a special thank you to our partner Confidence Analytics for helping make this episode possible. Thank you.